Lions fans thought, and I don't blame them, that this thing looked really good for them. Because the Lions came out and it took them less than a minute and a half to hit the Niners directly in the mouth and take out one of their kneecaps. And kept on hitting the Niners over and over again. Took a 2-score lead and then wound up taking, after the Niners scored a touchdown, a 17-point lead at half. And as I said in hour one, I'll repeat it here. If you're a Lions fan and you're like, you went mostly full Hasselbeck. The full Hasselbeck will say, I'll take the ball, we're going to score, and then not. Yeah. But they took the ball, they scored. They're saying to the Niners, we know you love having the opportunity to score on either side of halftime. Here you go. We are going to take the ball first, and you can have what you love to do in terms of game planning. And the Niners wind up not only not scoring right before halftime, because the Lions kick a field goal to go up 17 right before halftime. Instead of going for it on fourth down, put a pin in that. And then the Lions come out of the locker room on defense and hold the 49ers to a field goal themselves. The Lions, in getting the ball and giving the ball to the Niners right after halftime and giving them the opportunity to score on either side of halftime, they won that decision 7-3. They got 7 right off the bat, took the lead, and the Niners only got 3. They didn't score right before half, and they only scored 3 right after half. It's all working. And the 3 that the Niners get makes it a 14-point game. And you're dominating the line of scrimmage, and sure enough, to start the second half yourselves on offense, you start driving the football. You get the ball into field goal range yourself. And it's 4th and short, and you've got the ball on the San Francisco 28-yard line, and you are up 24-10. And what do you do if you're Dan Campbell on a 7-play drive? You go for it. Instead of getting the 3 points, they go for it, and they throw the ball to Josh Reynolds, and the ball's very catchable, and he doesn't grab it. And what do the Niners do with that opportunity? They score a touchdown. Now then, let's put a little bit more meat on the bones here. So instead of kicking the field goal from there, it's a 45-yarder. You should make those in the day and age of kicking field goals in the 45-yard field goal range, right? You'd be going up 17 points, and you'd look at the Niners and go, great job. You got the ball first to get the second half. No blood, as they do in Vegas. Taking a break. Midway through the third quarter, we now only have a quarter and a half to go to the Super Bowl. You haven't gotten any closer. We're going to kick the ball deep. You've got to drive the length of the field now on our defense. Instead, the offense comes back. The defense is feeling good about themselves, even though it was a drop pass. And, some of the SOL stuff happened. Lions fans knows what that stands for. Same old Lions.
Okay.
No.
That's so well.
I mean, Purdy throws one up top. It's really like a jump ball. And it's worse than a jump ball if you're San Francisco, because it looks a little airmailed over Ayuk's head. I mean, if you take a look at the snapshot of Kendall Vindor having the ball basically in between his hands,
yep.
And that turned out to be a 51-yard reception for the 49ers. I mean, the ball pinballed in between, like caromed off of his hands and his head and all that stuff. Look at this photograph on the screen. This wound up being a 51-yard grab for Ayuk.
For the other guy.
And the ball is encircled in Vildor's hands.
What a photo.
Honestly.
Wow.
That ball did not belong to the Lions. It belonged to the 49ers. And then Purdy made a dot of a touchdown pass, and it's a one-score game. And then the Lions get the ball back, and their Studley running back, Jahmyr Gibbs, who scored before to make it a 17-point game, was part of at least the 17-point halftime lead, he fumbles. And then short field for the Niners, and now you got a tie game. And that decision to not kick the field goal and go for it on fourth down looms that much larger. Now, did Dan Campbell say, all right, when we're going for it, you're going to drop the pass and then you're going to fumble, and then you're not going to grab an interception that's damn near in your hands. You're encircling the football. It's going to go to Ayuk. Of course not. But it does open the door for that sort of stuff. Instead, you're putting the defense out on the field, and I know they don't think that way. They think we're aggressive, we're going for it. And that happened again after the Niners took a lead. And the Lions respond with a nice drive again. And it's 4th and 3 at the San Francisco 30, just 2 further yards back than the previous going for it. So it's a 47-yard field goal to tie the game with 7:32 to go. They go for it again. And this one was even worse. I mean, the play is blown up. Goff's running for his life. He just flips the ball in the air. And San Francisco had just to kick the field goal to take the lead. And he doesn't tie it. Listen, I know the reason why they're here. And I know it's part of the reason why, wait for it, this guy's going to be coach of the year, I think, in a couple Thursdays. Everyone should get ready for the quarterback that lost the AFC Championship game to Mahomes is going to be the MVP. And the coach that just made these decisions that a lot of people are laying the Lions' loss in the NFC Championship game at the feet of these decisions. I think he's going to win Coach of the Year. And he's been stellar. And part of the reasons why is because he got them to where they are in many ways, as people are saying, because of this style of coaching. But even he, earlier in the game, at the end of the first half, took the points with a field goal because it was the smart thing to do. Take the points. Don't go for it and leave the 3 on the field. You could go up 21. Sure, 17's good enough.
Still 3 scores.
You're sending the team to the locker room down 17. Their home locker room, you're sending them there down 17. You're keeping them completely down and maybe not feeling any hope because they stop one play. I don't understand it. I'll never understand it. And I understand there's some analytics saying, go for it, you convert here. I just don't get it. Not everything needs to be at Spinal Tap 11. Sometimes the music's just as good when you turn it down to 9 or 8. You can still hear the lyrics and the beat, and you got, a good groove going on. And I said it last hour, I'll say it again. The Brett Favre interception when he was a Minnesota Viking.
I thought the exact same thing.
Did you really?
That whole game, absolutely.
The Brett Favre interception that he threw that cost the Vikings a chance to go to the Super Bowl. It sent the Saints to the Super Bowl.
Because it's a great soundbite by Paul Allen.
Paul Allen, I think it was at K-Fan. Is that what it is?
He's been the Vikings play-by-play guy.
Right.
Forever.
Anyway, he's a Vikings play-by-play announcer. He screams out, like, what are you doing? Like, this isn't the Detroit Lions. And his point wasn't to slag on the Lions. That was just his way of shorthanding to say, this isn't just a regular season game. This is the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's not week 7.
Right. So just because you did it in week 7 doesn't mean you do it in the NFC Championship game.
Yep.
That's my 2 cents on it. And Dan Campbell knows he's opening himself up to this second guessing. This is what he had to say after the game.
Yeah, I just felt really good about us converting and getting our momentum and not letting them play long ball. They were bleeding the clock out. That's what they do. I wanted to get the upper hand back, and it's easy hindsight, and I get it, I get that, but I don't regret those decisions, and that's hard. It's hard because we didn't come through. It wasn't able to work out, but I don't, and I understand the scrutiny I'll get. That's part of the gig, man. But we just didn't work out.
Oh man, I love this guy. He's just wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's, I know he's got the reputation that came out of the gate as not being a thinking man, but he is. He's got the smarts. That's you don't just get to his position and get the team to this spot.
Well, you can see why guys love playing for this.
Exactly.
Dude,
and by the way, I just want to also say the team loves it, because I'm sitting there thinking, what are some of these guys thinking? That there's some fast and loose being played. Yeah. Well, and I'm sure there's some analytics saying it's not so fast and loose. Like if he had gotten that fourth down conversion here or there and they kept the ball, they could have gone up 3 score, well, all that business. Or the upper hand, as he's referring to it. Jared Goff loved it. This is what he had to say after.
As a player, how do you factor it?
Love it.
What's it like playing for a coach that always wants to put
out there? Love it. We should convert.
What's it mean overall to a team when a coach does that all year long?
Yeah, he believes in us. And I don't know what the numbers are, but we had a lot of big time conversions this year that changed games, and I don't know what we were today. I don't know I know we had the 2 we didn't convert. I don't know if we had any others we did, but yeah, it can change a game if you convert them, and we didn't, and that's part of the reason why we lost.
And also at the end of the game, when they needed 10 points to tie, and it was 3rd and goal from the 1, and they needed to preserve all 3 timeouts left, because if they used one of those timeouts, they would then have to rely on an onside kick if they scored. Because if they didn't get the onside kick, those timeouts wouldn't get them the football back. Game's on the line at this point in time. And they ran it. And Ben Johnson, potentially, by the way, looks like he's the next coach of the Washington Commanders.
He's going to be a coach
right?
This week.
He called a run. And if I'm the head coach, I'm getting on the headset saying, we are not running. Yeah. Let's figure out a play. We got Laporta. We got Saint, as they referred to him. And they ran it, and they had to burn a timeout, and that was basically the game. And what did he do? I thought you kick the field goal now. Maybe just to get the points. And he went for it there. And they got a touchdown, and it worked.
Right.
And it kept them in the game. So now the onside kick happens. You could get just a couple of snaps, and you're in range to tie this game. And, the onside kick, it's just an abomination now. Like it's a waste of time.
That rule. I actually thought there was about a minute and a half left, and they were on the 20, 25. I like, kick the field goal now. There's still a minute and a half left, and you have all 3 timeouts. More time.
Now, we spoke about this earlier with Chris Long. He called that timeout, that run play and timeout, unforgivable. That's the one that he's really laying at the feet of the coaching staff, because that one would have to say is collective decision with the OC and the DC. I mean, the HC, right? I'm a gut feel guy more than anybody, and I understand analytics play a role here. That 4th and 2 play when you're up by 14, that one I can somewhat understand. The one I couldn't understand is, why aren't you going for the tie? And if you go up in the one that you turn down to go up 17, to me, you're also turning to the Niners and saying, okay, you just wasted a half of the 3rd quarter. Good luck. You're down 17 again. You're going to have to score 3 times. But even that one, you can convert it. You're still up 14. You're not thinking there's going to be some dipsy-do play where you should pick it off, and instead it's a 51-yard grab for your opponent. You don't think your rookie running back's going to fumble it. You don't think any of that stuff's going to happen. And, of course, it just magnifies the decision when that stuff happens. Though I don't get the one at the end. How are you not tying this game and saying with 7:32 to go, your turn. And put the pressure on Purdy here. Instead, you put Purdy back on the field with a lead. Of course he's going to play fast and nice and easy, don't you think? Well, the game on the line now, you need to score. This one, it's just like scoring's a cherry on top. Man, what a way for this season to end. And the future's bright. I know he was really honest after the game. I love everything about him. I love everything about him. Being honest after the game, told the guys, I don't know if we're ever going to get back here, but I think we can. The only way that we can is if you work your ass off in the offseason. You got to, the all grit message. And did you see the video of him? I saw this one on IG today of him putting his arm around Teddy Bridgewater walking out the building.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Because Bridgewater's going to retire.
Yep, I saw that.
I mean, he knows everything about what it's like to be a player in this league and a warrior and an all grit guy. Lions fans, I feel for you. Again, this photograph on the screen of Vildor having the ball in between his arms, like encircling it. And Ayuk is as far away from that ball as you possibly can get, and he's about to catch it for 51 yards and change the whole game. And that's the SOL stuff. That's the SOL stuff that Lions fans can't abide, and I don't blame them. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.